T-Man 978 Shill Review.
Hello everyone, T-Man 978. Right now, I'm going to be taking a look at Dark Source Iron Wrecker 09 Pursuit Type Mecha from Joy Toy. This is a 1/25th scale figure with a big mech suit. So right here, they have him outside of the mech. You could pretend somebody's in there piloting it, or you could pretend the mech is its own thing. But yeah, I can't wait to open it. And he's 1/25th scale, so I'm gonna see if it can fit in one of my alternators, Transformers alternators. Here's the Iron Wrecker numbers 9 Pursuit Type Mecha out of packaging. Here's the little pilot. I figured I'd give you the scale right out of the box. This, depending on how you think about things, could scale with a Masterpiece style figure, or more once you see the pilot involved, more than Generation style, and that's a 6-inch figure. And whatever, there you go. This mech is covered in 5mm ports and pegs, and what that means is it's highly compatible with Transformers Generations figures and their accessories and blast effects and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. This is basically 2 figures with accessories, so this is probably going to be a close to 20-minute video. First thing I'm going to show you is this is the weapon holder right here that holds it on the back. It comes unassembled, but I assembled it off camera. I'm going to let you look at what I did with the pieces. If you have the pieces in hand, you should be able to recognize what I did. Maybe freeze frame on this. There's also this option right here, which can attach to the side of the leg if you want it to hold the gun on its back. We should probably get the pilot out of the way first. It is highly detailed. As you can see, it has a 09 designation on the back, so you can know which mecha it's using. It has the gun holster with the gun strapped in there. It's not a regular holster, it just holds it by the handle. This is what you're working with right there. This vest is removable. The gauntlets are actually removable as well. You have an exchangeable head that we'll see. But let's let you see this. There's a neckerchief. The head is on a dumbbell, so you get some up and down right there, and tilts and rotation. The arms can go out. These shoulder pads move out the way. It's actually wrapped around with a strap. There's like no butterfly. You get a universal elbow right there. So it swivels right here. Bends up slightly more than 90 degrees. The wrist is on a universal joint. Oh my God, bro. As I was saying, there is a universal joint up under here. It's kind of hard to see and kind of hard to use a little bit when it's blocked by the shoulder guard right here. I mean, elbow guard. But BGE, Baltimore Gas and Electric, decided to cut off the power in the neighborhood for some reason. I don't know. They even cut the lights to the street lights at the intersection by me, which is dangerous because these people can't drive on a good day. But it has a ball in the waist. It has a ball in the upper torso as well, but it's weak. I'm going to take the vest off, but it's still weak. The legs go out that far, kick forward that much, kick back that much, thigh rotation, double jointed knee right there. You get, there is it's sort of like a universal in there, but you don't get to really use it as a universal. So the foot goes back a lot, comes forward some, and you do get ankle pivot. Let's show that from the front. I mean, it's really, really good. Unlike Marvel Legends ankle pivot, it does rotate sideways instead of diagonally. Here he is without the neckerchief. And here's his tiny little head right there. The details are sparse, as you can see. And unfortunately, the head fell out of my fingers and went under my foot. And I scraped the paint off the side of his head right there. So there's that. But here's what you're working with. I didn't even realize the eye was looking like that before filming. It doesn't look that bad when you're not looking at it through the camera. But he could have used some eyebrows. That would have been good. Maybe I can get a magnifying glass and a fine point pen or something. In order to get the vest off, you have to pop his lower body off and unstrap these from inside of there. Then it can just slide on down. You can't slide it off over his head, unfortunately. Up in here, we have another dumbbell joint. Good luck lining this up. I did it, but here he is without that on. I guess the arm gear and stuff can come off. I just said the arm gear and stuff can come off, but I don't feel like it that quick. It's too much effort. These hands can come off that easily. Now, outside of the gun in his holster, he does have this one that's painted up. He has the trigger hand and the gun cupping hand. With him being quite posable, you can have him in different types of poses in front of this mech, or on a battlefield with a whole bunch of mechs. And they do sell these guys separately. The first one I bought had armor that you could put on, and yeah, the armor was like permanent basically once you put it on there. I didn't like it, and it hindered everything. This one has armor like already pre-applied, and it's great. And here's his smaller pistol. The last thing I'm going to show off with him is he does come with two handle hands. And to let you know, the pegs that the hands go on are very tiny and scary. They give you no replacement, so you'll have to be careful. You can cover up the ball joint with his gauntlets, but they give you a lot of range when you pull it back. Coincidentally, maybe, but he is compatible with the Human Alliance backfire here with those handle hands. So yeah, they were about 1/24th, 1/25th scale, so it works out right there. And it's still compatible in other ways, so stay tuned. Anywho, like the box says, it's hand painted and it smells like paint when you first open it. Everything's covered in some type of paint or wash for the most part. I believe even these little connectors I was showing off earlier. But here's the big sword you get right there. Things are modular, so that handle can come off and it can go back. Can it go back on this way? No, because these ridges are in the way. But something can probably slide over that if you had something that could, basically. When it comes to not really a point right there. You get the modular gun, where this handle can come off. This can come off. Well, the stock can come off. But it's meant to go back which way? I believe this way. Which is kind of weird since it's on the bottom, but the paint holds it together. This can even slide off, really, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. That slides off from the bottom as well, which is weird. Then we have this thing, I guess this would be the ammo or fuel that this thing needs. But that can slot into there. So here we have his full gun right there. Fully painted. And the instructions, they show you that these side saddles, and look at this, completely modular, but this is the first time I've popped his arm off. It's funny how stuff happens on camera and not when you're actually messing with it. It says that these aren't attached, but they are attached in the package. This little flap thing right there is on the front, so you know which side should be the right side if it is detached. And you get these could be like ammo cartridges, but they are meant to stick in here. With just friction, they don't like pop in. which is kind of scary that will wear down over time. So I would just put it in there and never take them out. But you could remove this, which I do this shimmy motion right there to get that out of there. And you could attach this if you wanted to. For another mode, you could pop these two off and put that right there, which I'll show that in use later. But let's show off the Mech. He is fully painted, like I said, covered in detail. Any armor pieces you see, even down here, they are just modular. So they are on pegs that have hinges. So these are connected up and down, but you can possibly lower them and whatnot. These come off, the crotch piece comes off. If you tried hard enough, that could come off. This back part comes off, and this does move up and down. Let's get higher. You have his caution markers. Now this was reversed, but I found that it hindered the articulation for me, so I switched it. You get all types of detail right here. 09 marking, detail under there. It's just covered in paint and detail. And of course, inside the cockpit, the seat is removable. I'll let you see this. This is not like cheap feeling plastic, to be honest. But they painted all this stuff that you would never see. This seat thing doesn't really move. There's all types of detail in here. Like this was rattling around, I had to plug that back in. But there's some control details. Note the handle right there that the pilot can pull down to shut it. I would assume that if you have an imagination, oh, here's the handles that the pilot can grab. The pilot should be like neural connected to this Mech because, yeah. But anyway, this slides down and ports over to that bigger port inside of there. All right, now let's get this pilot in here. I'm guessing this is how this is supposed to work right there. We could just get the feet in there, and you know what? I tried that before. I can't really get him in there while sitting in the seat. That would be nice. It seemed like you should be able to do that, but get him in there, like kind of in a seated position a little bit. Then if you care, you can put his arms down onto the handles. I was gonna care, but y'all ain't gonna be able to see it anyway. Just make sure that he is just as far down. Make sure the seat is as far down as possible, and he is as far down as possible, so we can shut that. And this is what the top of this looks like. Let's turn my light back on. And let's get into the articulation and stuff. And other details, like they have this handle here, but his hands are so freaking small compared to this. I don't know how that will work with him getting up there. And I have him in up completely standing straight up, but I'll fix that later. Anywho, none of this moves. I kind of wish that this rotated, but this goes up and down on both sides. This side goes up higher because he doesn't have this thing right there. The arms are on a universal joint, so they can come forward, they can go back, they can rotate out to the side that much. You can rotate right here because it's universal. This hinders it from being able to go out completely 90 degrees. But like I said, modular. So that comes off and we can get it all the way out 90 degrees. Just like it was blocking the way down here, I said, this is blocking that. Let's see if I can put it in upside down. If I put it in upside down, to be covering the forearm. Right here we have the double jointed elbow, that if you have things aimed right, it can go up about that much. We have a universal joint in the wrist. This one is tight as crap. I can barely rotate it. The fingers, but you can go out. The fingers spread at the base knuckle. The thumb is just on a ball joint, so it can do this and that on that ball joint and come in and be shaped like that. This middle finger can also move like this, and the fingers can clench tight like that. That doesn't really help with grip at all. None of this. And there's no like peg end system for it to hold the weapons. That sucks. The waist is on a ball, so you get about that much, and you get some tilt, and of course it rotates. This universal, it bumps into that. Swivel right here, can kick forward that much, kick back all the way. You get a knee bend right there, a knee bend right here, and it bumps into that molding right there. The leg probably should be shaped like this, to be honest. That would make it shorter, so it can like be like this when he's climbing up there and getting up to the top. It has ankle pivot in both directions. The foot can go forward and come back. So there you are. And here's the bottom of the feet. There's surprisingly zero detail under there. Wow, there's detail pretty much everywhere else. I showed this can do this, and you could take that off. And you could probably take this off, probably take that off. Any issues that I have is these don't sit in there that tight. I'm pretty sure once the paint wears off, it's not going to sit in there at all. Things like I said, stuff that I wish that it could do is I wish that this whole inside could rotate on the cylindrical system in there, so that when it's holding the gun, it can actually look in that direction. It's pretty much just looking straight. That's why I said this thing would have to be neural linked to the pilot, so the pilot can see everywhere. But back here, this thing can port in there, and we can have it like, you can have it up. Let me bend this leg and take this sword, have the sword hanging off. I feel like I'm doing something wrong or whatever, but because I don't remember the sword like sitting out so much, but you can figure out what you want to do. I'm just having it sitting out like that. The gun, I'll try to show this, but the gun can go in the hand. It does not have a firm grip on that at all. So basically we need two hands to hold the gun at all times. So yeah, here's where things fall apart with this whole situation. You got this big mech with a big giant gun and a big giant sword, and it can't hold the weapons at all. I mean, you could do this. If it didn't have this hand on that, it would not be able to hold the gun at all, to be honest with you, because it will just keep falling out of the hand. There's no grip on that handle at all. And let me see if I can try to get it straight. I mean, the arms do not rotate in front of the body. With patience and balance, you can get the sword in the hand, but it, like I said, it does not have a firm grip on that at all. And you can also store the gun on the back because of the 5mm pegs. I mean, you could take one of these off and try to attach it through there, but it does not sit tight. But I just wanted to show that off. Once you move too quick, it's over with. And that other gun arrangement that I had on earlier, yeah, in lieu of him not being able to hold the gun correctly, him being able to actually hold this over the shoulder with this arm on his back is great. So you could shoot and shoot and shoot and still have access to these cool hands. The hands are cool by themselves when they're not trying to hold things, but trying to hold things with them, that's what sucks. So yeah, definitely if I could change anything, I'll give it either like some type of 5mm port in there or something in there so it can actually hold the gun better. I would give the feet like some type of ankle rotation. You got the pivot, but if it could like rotate, or maybe if it was on a tight ratcheted universal joint, it'll be better, because trying to pose it and it doesn't have any boot swivel or ankle swivel, it is difficult to pose. And the other thing I would change is, like I said, this being able to rotate. That would have been better for me. But it's a mech. You can pretend it can see wherever it's looking without actually looking. And this can actually rotate in whatever direction you need. Cool things with this having 5mm ports all over it. You can put blast effects on there from Transformers. You can do things like taking the hands off and putting like Megatron's gun right here and give it like a cannon arm. We can put blast effects onto that. If you collect Transformers, and at this point, if you collected Transformers 4 years ago, because Transformers Siege had all these things right here, and you are shit out of luck at this point, basically. You can also take off these panels and attach things like these type of weapons. Like the possibilities are friggin' endless. You can take this off, and maybe it has a hidden gun down here. You can do friggin' everything. And the fists are on 5mm, so we can make them have a fist. And if you have a stand, you can port that in there, make it look like he's blasting his freaking fist off his hand, off his arm. So much stuff. Since it has an issue holding the sword in his hand, you could take that armor off and put the sword onto its arm. Like, if you want to, you could take that off so it's just a straight up blade. So now he can shoot stuff in whatever direction and slice in a different direction. So it's still play worthy. I mean, it's not complete crap. It can still get into a good looking pose, and it's still a cool mech at the end of the day, with some limitations and some complaints. Remember that Human Alliance vehicle from earlier, or Transformer? It turns into a cannon with guns, machine guns right there. You can actually port that on there because it has a 5mm peg. So the possibilities of what you can do to arm this guy up are endless. So that is like the coolest thing for me, especially since I have a rack of Transformers things laying all over the place. Show them next to Transformers and whatnot. Who's to say how big the pilot is? Who's to say if it has a pilot? Period. So it can honestly just go up against any size robot or any size human you have laying around. Maybe you could fight Spider-Woman or whatever the heck. Who's to say? Anywho, I like it. I like the pilot. It just has some quirks here or there. And I like that it's completely modular and you can use other things with it. Like whoever decided to make 5mm ports and pegs, genius. Absolute genius. Like I can even put this cannon right here on here from Tarn. So possibilities are endless. Anyway, let's end this video. Thank you for watching. I'll put a link in the description for where you can get this on Amazon. Until next time, T-Man978 out of here.
Figure action.
one's me. Join the Syndicate Toy Hunters Facebook group. Link in the description. Click the videos. Click the videos, baby. Click